terms of the political foolishness and political stupidity that is being displayed in St. Lucia is the fact that during election time, just observe that bottle here. This is a Heineken Bear bottle. Now you can see it has a red star. It has red stars on it. During election time or during election season, in places like Oleon, I know specifically Oleon in Denrenough, there are many UWP supporters who will not drink Heineken Bear just because it has this red star on it. Just because of that. They have no problems with drinking beer, but just because of that red star, they will not drink Heineken Bear. Now, the funny thing is, the people on the UWP side who have the position and the title, the people who own the party, the ministers of government of UWP, probably drink Heineken Bear. Those who drink beer see nothing wrong in consuming Heineken Bear, although it has that red star on it. But the ordinary person who does not really even benefit from the political gains from the party will not drink Heineken Bear just because it has this star on it. And to me, that speaks to the level of stupidity and foolishness that it is almost like taking a joke too far. And these are some of the things that you will see, and people believe hard and deep in that as if it is religion unto them. The other point that I want to bring is the concept or the idea that you will hear people talking about during election time that you pakabai vote your bope. That's what they will say. Makabai vote mo bope. So what is happening is they are trying to say that they will not cast a vote for the political party that they're not accustomed to voting for. It is almost like they consider that such an illegitimate act. You understand? That they will not do it. But même se moun sa yika do that, yo paka bay vote yo bope. Most of se moun sa bay hish yo bope osav. So, ou paka bay vote yo bope, me ou ka bay hish yo bope. So, sa men pou di, fundamentally, that ou ni pli vale pou vote yo pe hish yo. You understand? Ou paka bay vote tellement sacred, vote tellement important, vote tellement over bon Dieu pour that ou maintain that ou paka bay vote bope, mais ou ka bay issue bope. So just if these people were really thinking of the things, really analyzing the catchy laissez bay sa so ka di la, se ba de ka même parler. Et sou de ka really catchy le sa ou de ka di ya, ou même de ka font différentes décisions of ça qui really important en la vo pour ou pas ka bay vote bope, mais ou ka bay issue bope. Bon aller, monsieur. They that will point out to political stupidity in St. Lucia is the fact that people will quarrel. People will threaten not to vote if they do not get a t-shirt. Bon, c'est un point moi amène comédie fois mais moi ni pour mener because of manière ça ka toucher moi. C'est mon ka do moi même maka vote. You pas ban t-shirt maka vote. And that remind me so much of the time of slavery. There is something they call the Great Triangle. A triangle from England to Africa, Africa to the Caribbean, and then back to England. So what happened is they would take the English people would leave England and go to Africa. So when they went to Africa, they would bring bright colored things like cloth. Cloth was one of the main things that them British people would bring into Africa. And them African people, when they see the cloth, they would open their eyes wide. They're happy, they think they get something so valuable. And they will sell their most valuable possessions, give away their most valuable possessions to these people for a piece of cloth that looking nice. And that is so, after over 400 years, black people have that same mentality. You can fool them with a piece of cloth that is shining. So the political electorate say bugla kika control politics la. The fellas will bring the nice t-shirt and give you, just like the white fellas were bringing the cloth in Africa. Fool your eyes with a t-shirt, and then you give them things that have great value. After around 400 years, the mentality has not changed. Look at how you, in 400 years ago, you could fool people in Africa with cloth and make them give you slaves. Same way in St. Lucia and other places. Just bring them a nice red t-shirt or bring them a nice yellow t-shirt and now a nice green t-shirt, and they will give you the world just for a t-shirt. Magavote, my t-shirt, magavote. C'est moun nan ka leve fâché, moun ka leve enragé because you're paying a t-shirt. After 400 years, you can still fool them with the same trinkets, the same thing. It's amazing. After 400 years, that a piece of cloth, you will do anything for a piece of cloth. Way to go. Another point in political stupidity in St. Lucia is when poor people, the average ordinary person, will use threats to prevent a politician from helping somebody. Okay, we have situations where the politician knows that certain people did not vote for them. They know that that guy didn't vote for me or that woman did not vote for me. Now, certain times the people find themselves in a situation, in an economic crisis, and they need help. So they sometimes go to the politician who knew that that person did not vote for them. And sometimes the politician will try to arrange something using his influence in government or whatever to help that person to gain some kind of thing, some kind of job or some kind of contract or something, just to help them deal with that situation. And in many cases, when the supporters of the politician find out what is happening, these guys or these women will get angry and threaten the politician that if he were to help that person, they would not vote for him ever again, and they would they would threaten them in different ways, threaten to withdraw support, threaten to do all kinds of things just because the politician decided to help somebody who did not vote for them. That is political foolishness and stupidity. Amalewe mem konhu. Amalewe mem konhu. Eka politician ka try when de malewe just because he pa vote by parto. Ou ka threaten politician pou he pa when de moun. Amon ki just konhu. That is foolishness and stupidity of the highest order. You trying to prevent a politician from helping somebody in his constituency just because he did not support your party. You want to threaten the guy. Way to go. That is stupidity of the highest order. Another thing, political stupidity in St. Lucia, another point of political stupidity in St. Lucia is when you have a political party which has formed the government, they're in power for 5 years, and then when the people vote them out, they're starting to complain about things that they themselves didn't do when the other party is now in power. And that reminds me of a situation where with that hospital that we always talk about in Vieux-Fort. You had a situation where Brother Kenny was in power at that time, and they were working on the Vieux-Fort hospital. Never finished the Vieux-Fort hospital, and as soon as they lost the elections, a few months after they lost the elections, they started complaining, putting pressure on the new government for not completing the hospital. Putting pressure because the hospital is still not completed, whereas they had 5 years to do it. And a government that is in power for a few months, they putting pressure on them to asking why the thing is not done yet. That is stupidity and foolishness of the highest order. And that, them kind of things, when you see people do that, you cannot take them seriously. You cannot take them seriously because recently you were just there. 1 month, 2 months after you get out, you start making noise that they should complete, that it should be completed, whereas you were there for all the while and you never did anything to complete it. That is political stupidity of a very high order. These things need to stop, man. You see, when you hear things like that, it makes you realize that the people, the mentality of the people have not gotten better. It is the same foolishness, the same stupidity from the 1960s repeating itself. People have internet access and all of those things at their home, Wi-Fi and everything, cable, and yet still the mentality is the same way it was when it was in 1960 in some areas. Because from the time you say something like that in the modern era, people should be taking you for a joke. Political foolishness and stupidity in the country. Another point concerning the political foolishness is when people just go and just vote for people just because they're in some kind of political party, but yet they do not do anything concerning the industry that you're in. Let's just say, for example, you're a farmer, you're into farming. There are certain people who represent farming, they represent agriculture, and they do not do anything in the better interest of farmers. There's a guy, a minister of agriculture I've seen in St. Lucia. When he goes to meeting with farmers, he actually disrespect the farmers, insult. This is a guy who when people ask him questions, this is how he behaves. Like he always hyper, always feel like he can berate, castigate farmers. If you're a farmer, or if you make a living in farming, and a guy representing agriculture, and he does not respect you in meeting, do you think that this guy is going to do anything on your behalf? Do you think that this guy will push the government or pass laws to do anything on your behalf? If it is that farming is your thing, that's where you make a living, you're supposed to be concerned about farming and make sure that whoever it is that is coming in that arena must be somebody that is going to look after your best interests. When you look at America, in England, anywhere you look around the world, people want people who are going to support the industry that they're in. If somebody is in tourism, they look for somebody who's going to push their tourism vibes for them. When you look at St. Lucia, always is the big fellas that get everything that they want. People with hotels get concessions on everything. Their wine, the concession on wine, their rum and all of that. And the things that they get in concessions are the things that are the most profitable. That's where they make all their money. And yet, them people are supposed to be paying taxes and they do not pay taxes. And some of them governments will even cancel the taxes that they're supposed to pay. These guys make sure that their interest is looked after. They use money. Some of them cannot even vote in St. Lucia, so they use money to make sure that they get the right person in, to make sure that they get their exemptions, they get their tax breaks. So you, as a farmer, even if you don't have money to give the election, what you have is a vote. Your family vote, your friends vote. So you have to use the power that you have to get what you want. You want to be able to have a situation in the country where when you plant your tomatoes, you can sell them. And there will not be containers of tomatoes coming from Miami. You cannot support people that don't support your industry. Look at the big guys. When fellas do not support their industry, they spend money to make sure that the fellas lose the elections. They use whatever strength they have because they want to protect their livelihood. But why is it these farmers vote against their own selves? These farmers never look to see, you know what, this guy is not looking after my best interest. I cannot vote for this guy. Or this guy, I see that coming up there or whatever. When I look at them fellas or this guy or whatever, I do not see this guy as someone who's going to be doing anything in the interest of the farming industry, of which I'm a part. And so I'm not going to vote for them. But the political stupidity is so deep in this place that no matter what is done to these farmers, they continue and they will vote for people that are not after their best interest. And that is one of the thing that is a puzzle to me. And that is one of the high points of political foolishness and stupidity in St. Lucia. So this is just, I just gave you a few. I'm just going to see how this go and to see if I'm going to give some more, because there's a whole heap of political foolishness that is taking place in St. Lucia. Just keep the fire burning. Keep your heads up, man. Take it easy.